Hi guys, James here, bringing you something new to my content and to my channel, something I've never done before. It's called NewGen Hotspots. Now if you hear me refer to them as regens, after I've just been told that we call them NewGens now, but I'm old school, so they're regens to me. So basically what I'm going to do, I've picked top 5 clubs where I think you can pick regens from and see how they develop, and I'm going to show you a few screenshots of players they've had in the past, players that have moved on in the future from these clubs, and their facilities and how good they are. Now I've picked 5 clubs and I've picked different countries each, so you get a variety of spots. Now I'd say maybe 2 or 3 of them would be predicted, a couple of them maybe not, but let's see how we get on. Okay, so the first one we're going to go to is Crewe. So Crewe's training facilities are great, as well as their youth facilities are great. Now they're a well-known talent club, picking up players for cheap. Like in the past they've had Nick Powell, at the moment they've got George Cooper, and at the top of the tree there is Dario Gradi. He's the head of youth development and he's been there for about 28 years in real life. Obviously at the start of the game he's still there, long gone by now, this far advanced in the game. So that's the background of the club, what they've got, what you can work with, what you get through on Regen Day or New Gen Day. So we'll show you a couple of players, see what they've had in the past. So here is Steve Hubbard. He's been at Crewe Alexandra his whole career. Of course, being with them, his value's not going to increase too much, either is his wage. He's 32 now, and if you look at those stats, 15 finishing and a few really good mental stats. Now if you picked him up, say 17, 18, he could do some real good damage for you, or you could sell on for massive profit. The next one we look at is Nick Watts. Now he has been there his career, he's only 23 but he's a key player for the team. Now if you look at those mental stats, and his physicals are okay as well. If you picked him up age 15, 16, you could have worked with that and done something like that if you're a bigger club, i.e. a championship or premiership club. Now, Crewe are well known for being able to pick their talent up for cheap. At the start of the game, they usually sell George Cooper to a Premier League team, Ryan Colclough to a Premier League team. And having experience playing as them, I know they pump through a lot of good regens. You usually get at least 1 or 2 a season, maybe more, depending on the staff you have. But with Dario Gradi at the top, you've got a chance of bringing through a few decent ones earlier on before he retires. So after checking out England and Crewe, we've moved on. We've now landed in Uruguay at a club that has experienced good players over the years for me since probably Football Manager 2010-ish, and I usually check them every year to see what they've got to offer. Now the facilities, the training is adequate, but the youth ones, that's what we're looking at, because we're looking for regens here, new gens, great youth facilities. So we'll check out what they've had over the years and see if there's anything decent. So here we have the number 54 Gustavo Barbosa of Inter Milan. Plays as a striker, can play as an attacking midfield left and on the right. Age 30 now, he's a first team player at the club still. £54,000 per week. 47 caps for Uruguay, and 15 goals for the national team. 16 under 20 caps and 7 under 20 goals. Valued at 9 million, bear in mind he's just in his peak, passing his peak, but look at those attributes. Technically, mentally he's fantastic, and his physicals are pretty decent too. Now he came from originally Defensor Sporting. If I'm going to show you future regens, they must have started at the club I'm talking about initially. So he moved to Shakhtar Donetsk for 1.7 million. Had a season at Groningen on loan, then went back to Shakhtar for a few seasons, before moving to Inter Milan for 7.25 million, where he's been his career. Now, in total, he's had 106 goals, 38 assists, 8 man of the match, 6.97 average in 247 games for those 4 clubs. But what he offered at the start of the game, I reckon, human controlled, he could be incredible. But of course, with AI, sometimes they don't get them to their full potential the way we could. So the next homegrown talent is Luciano Conte, born in Uruguay, raised by Defensor Sporting, now at the Giants Paris Saint-Germain. Attacking midfield centre, come centre midfielder. Rotational at Paris Saint-Germain, which is, of course, a lot of players would be with the talent they have. £73,000 per week, madness that a rotational player can have that. 6 caps, 3 goals for his country, valued at £10.75 million. Technically, he's fantastic. You look to exploit that dribbling, first touch, long shots, passing technique. You want to exploit that. Decision making is pretty good, and his stamina and strength are really good as well. So you want to use that. Ideally, he would probably be starting at most of the clubs that aren't PSG. You'd probably build your squad around him because he's 25 coming into his prime. Now we'll show you his career stats. Of course, started at Defense and Sporteur. And he moved straight to Paris Saint-Germain for 1.6 million, and he kind of found it difficult getting demoted to the reserves each time. A loan probably would have suited him better. He's almost been a bit part player his entire career, but the last 4 seasons he has brought a little bit of consistency when he has played. 80 games in his career, 10 goals, 13 assists, 2 player of the match, 7.38 average. But with those attributes, look at them, they are deadly. Human controlled again, he would be incredible. Okay, so we're on to our third club, third country. We've packed our bags and we're off to Argentina. As you can see, it's quite funny. Agustin Allione is the manager of the club that he started at. Weird that, because he is a football manager wonder kid of past and still a quality player on the game just now. So the facilities of Les, excellent training youth facilities and excellent training first team facilities, which is a good thing. So once they progress from that youth level, they've still got the quality training facilities at the level above, so that is excellent. So we'll check out a couple of players now, where they've went and see how they've done. So here we are, back at Inter Milan, who seem to keep poaching great youngsters. So we have Matthias Cordoba, who started his career at Velez. He's not capped by Argentina yet, but he has got 13 under-21 caps. 23-year-old, a first-team player, strong central defender at Inter Milan. 70 grand per week, valued at 20 million, which, for a good centre-back this far in, that's kind of what you're going to see the prices at. Now, he is a very determined player, and strength is a good key he has. Natural fitness is good, anticipation, bravery, decisions, determination, teamwork, work rate. This guy is fantastic. He's absolutely incredible. Surely when you've got him at the start and you progress into this, or even better, he is almost skipper, like captain material of your team. Only 23 years old, not even hit his prime, yet he's a first team key player at Inter Milan, which is fantastic. He's got personality, ambitious, so does that tell you the type of players that Velez produce? Possibly. So we'll look at his history. As you can see, of course, he does start at Velez. That's the point of this. We're showing you where they've started, the club we're exposing, and where they've gone to. So he had a loan spell at Copenhagen and a loan spell at Ghent. Went back to Velez. Then he proved himself for 2 seasons, 7.34, 7.5 average over them 2 seasons. He got him a big money move to Inter Milan. And he's not done fantastic so far in his 7 games. But in total, he's had 111 games, 4 goals, 10 assists, 8 player of the match, and a 7.15 average for the clubs he's played for. Another player developed by those excellent youth and excellent training facilities from Velez is Martin Ledesma, the number 8 pivotal key player, 21 years old, at Bayern Munich. Now, you know he's at Bayern Munich, you know he's a key player, he must be quality. Almost 90 grand per week, 5 caps for Argentina, 20 million value. Just look at this guy. He's only 21, so he's not even close to his prime when he's valued at 20 million. Now, that pace and stamina of 16, 17, with the crossing, the dribbling for a wide man, that is amazing. That's one of the first things I look for, is that pace, stamina, crossing, dribbling. Basically, has he got an end product? And yes, that tells me he does. And with corners as well, 16, he can definitely cross the ball from that wide area. Now, his passing is also fantastic, and weirdly enough, he's got long throws of 17, which is excellent. Composure of 17, so could be alright with that if he gets through in one-on-one situations, although his finishing isn't the best, but he is a world-class wide man. Now his history. Started at Velez, had a Loan spell at Racing Club, then Hertha Berlin. He tried Germany. Then he went to Universidad de Chile in Chile. Went back to Velez. Had a decent season of 7.51 before getting a 7 million move to Bayern Munich, where he started off pretty well. In total, 99 games, 7 goals, 22 assists. That should be pretty higher, I'd say. 7.16 average. Again, this is what the AI are doing with him, but look at him. He's got everything in the engine to be world class. Now, if you spot him very early at Velez and stop Bayern or any other big team getting interest in him, you've picked up an absolute diamond here. Welcome to Brazil. Atlético Mineiro, of course, a former club of Ronaldinho, Gilberto Silva. We're going to show you a couple of players who are currently at the club and some players who are away from the club. But first, they've got excellent training facilities, average youth facilities. But if they get catapulted straight to the first team, then that could bode well for them. So we bring you to the homegrown, flamboyant winger that is Ulisses, number 48 of Mineiro. Now currently age 24, a key player, £41,000 per week. I'm not sure what the wages are like once a player becomes world class in Brazil, to be honest. 12 million, and he is a cap of Brazil. Now look at those stats, guys. Technically, this guy is phenomenal. Again, for a wide man, I'm looking at pace, stamina, corners, crossing, first touch, passing, technique, flair for a wide man. Now, like the last player we showed you, this guy got the talent in abundance. Now, this is where he started, and he hasn't been sold permanently. But if you exploit Mineiro quick enough, you can get this guy young, get him on board, you can have him even better than what we're showing you now. Valued at 12 million in Brazil, pretty decent. Now he did start at Mineiro, of course he did. He went on loan to Ledequito, Malmo, Ledequito again, and Palmeiras, before becoming a dominant key figure in the Mineiro team, getting a 7.23, 7.58, 7.42, 7.54, 4 consistent seasons in a row. Now, total career so far, remember he's still young, 140 games, 23 goals, 27 assists. I want more assists from a wide man than that. That is, what, 1 in every 6-ish? 8 mile a match and 7.31. So that is a fantastic player that Mineiro have brought from their own youth system. Now we bring to the vastly experienced junior number 5 at Atlético Mineiro. Been there pretty much his whole career with a few loans. He's now 28 and in his prime. He's got 11 caps for the Brazil national team, but he's got some very key attributes for a central defender that I look in. Now, the marking, the heading. You want him obviously to be good at marking so he doesn't lose his man, and heading is a key part of that, so he beats the man to the first header. Determination of 15 is attributes that will be helped with the determination. I'm not saying it makes it or makes the attributes go rocket up, but it will certainly help. Strength of 17 is a key as well. Stamina of 15, 12 pace. Now, 12 pace or above is what you kind of look for in a central defender. I would never, ever, ever, ever sign someone with pace below that. And if I did, he'd have to be the best on the game without that. Now, his jumping reach is 16, of course that will help with the heading and the marking. Composure and concentration are 16, they are key, so he's going to be a pivotal part of the squad. His position is 17, his work rate is 16. This guy is quality. Only 10 million. That tells me his value had been well below that for his career now. Snap him up. I can imagine each of those stats will be, what, 3-4 below what they are. At most, he would have been quality. So let's have a look at his career and his history. Now, of course, at Atlético Mineiro, went on loan to Atlético Paranaense, Braga, America, before going back to Atlético Mineiro, before becoming a stalwart. You look at that, what's that, 8, 9, 10 seasons roughly? 7 or above in every season there. Now, 312 games, massively experienced. And he's only 28, so he might even be worth a punt now if you were playing this save. 20 goals, 24 assists, 13 man of the match, and 7.24 average. This guy has been absolutely world class. This is the type of player you can get from Atletico Mineiro. Now that brings me to a player who started at Atletico Mineiro. He's been, gone, come back to Brazil, and he's now at Sao Paulo. Now, age 27, he's only a rotational striker, which surprises me because he's got some decent stats. He is not captain, that very much surprises me. Valued at 10 million with a worldwide reputation. Now, 16 finishing and 15 pace, that has me, not hooked, but it catches my eye straight away with that composure of 16. There are three key components in a striker when they're young. Finishing, composure, pace for me. And he appears to have had that when he was younger. He looks very, very rock solid. We'll see what his career says about him. Now, of course, at Atletico Mineiro. Then he went on loan to Melgar. That seems a pretty strange transfer, having been first choice the season before. But he went back there before again going on loan to Cercle Club Bruges, Botafogo International, Botafogo again, back to Mineiro before making a 13.75 million move to the Giants of Brazil, Sao Paulo. Now, he looks to have had a bit of a mixed career, but solid enough to sign when he was younger. Now, 280 appearances, 149 goals, so 1 in every 2 is fantastic. 33 appearances and 7.13 average. That's Tercio, the number 43 of Sao Paulo. Started at Mineiro. Again, I have to stress that you pick them up young enough, you can dominate with them, you can control them, you can make them become a human goal-scoring machine. So we've been to 4 countries, we're at another, the final one. Definitely, without hesitation, my favourite regen hunting spot, and I'm sure many people's in the history of Football Manager. We went to GNK Dinamo. I think this is the club that were named Dinamo Zagreb or Croatia Zagreb. I'm unsure, but we played them as Newcastle many, many years ago. The team I support, of course. So we're going to look at their facilities, of course, straight away. Impressive and great. That doesn't surprise me at all. With experience from signing from them, I know what they're about, I know what they bring, I know what you get from them. You're not going to get them cheap from there, but you're not going to have to pay over the odds. You're paying what you get, really. If you want to try and offer them cheap, they're going to turn it down because they're a big enough club in their country to be able to turn that down. Age 23 and the long-term key goalkeeper of Dinamo is Ivan Plantak. Now valued at 3.9 million, the full first-team Croatian goalkeeper with 34 appearances, the fantastic attributed player, goalkeeper. Look at some of those attributes. He's only 23. Bravery, decisions, determination, positioning, reflexes, punching, handling, kicking. Now, not tendency to punch isn't always a good thing, to be fair, but throwing 15, these are fantastic. Now, he has been at Dinamo's whole career, so they've developed him. But 133 games and 45 clean sheets, so that's basically 1 in every 3 clean sheets he gets. Well, 7.30 average. Homegrown talent, Croatian, that's what they have produced. He hasn't moved, he showed loyalty. Right now, if you're playing this safe, snap him up. 3.9 million, say you pay 10 million, you got 10 plus years out of him, he's fantastic. But you pick him up, he's 16, 17, you develop him like this, he's your first goalkeeper at the team you're playing at for, what, 10% of that 3.9 million? Bargain. Ivica Herseg, the 43 of GNK, first team member, age 25 on a pitiful wage of £6,250 per week and a almost nothing like 4.3 million value. Now he is wanted by 2 Premier League clubs. At the moment on this game, they are Hull and Middlesbrough, and I think Reading too. 41 appearances, 15 goals for Croatia, 41 under 21, 23 goals for the 21s team. Now he is a striker, he can play wide, but look at this guy, finishing at 17, pace of 15, physically he's incredible, technically he's decent, mentally not the best, but he's good enough. Let's check his history. He's a homegrown player from Croatia, brought through by Dinamo, and Very, very consistent. Ever since he joined the first team, never had a rating below 7. Now look at that, guys. Absolute goal machine. 180 games, 115 goals for his boyhood club, 36 assists and 7 player of the match, 7.38 average. Dean Matos of Manchester United, age 27, a rotational squad player, valued at mammoth 26 million, versatile on the foot. He can play with both. 79 caps for Croatia, 14 goals. Some pretty well-rounded stats there. He's good in all departments, technically, mentally, physically. He likes to play in the playmaker role, playmaker roaming, playmaker advance, playmaker deep lying. Let's look at his history. Of course, he started off at GNK, made a 7.25 million move to Barcelona before going back to Dinamo for 2 seasons, then established himself in the Barcelona team before making a almost £30 million move 6 seasons ago to Manchester United. Now his career tells us 243 games he's experienced, overall value of 37 million, 33 goals, 47 assists, and a 7.09 average. This, guys, is what GNK have produced as homegrown. Surely worth that 7 million that Barca paid. If you manage to check them every season, beat them to it, who knows? The final part of it we come to is number 9 of Juve, Krunoslav Matkovic, 60 games, 38 goals for Croatia, valued at £48 million, age 25, a key player for Juve, 110 grand per week. Need I say more? Finishing a 14 is okay, but everything else is absolute dynamite. Physically, he is a giant monster. Some great technicals, some great mentals. Of course, we'll check his history right now. Homegrown lad, started at Dinamo for making a big 17.25 million move. As I say, with GNK, you're not going to pay pennies. You will pay a decent amount, but you will get value for money. He moved on after 3 seasons at Atletico to Juventus for 25 million, where he's had a wonderful start, 8 goals in 9 games, and 43 million value total, 206 games, 123 goals, so more than 1 and 2, 42 assists. So basically, guys, in goals wise, he's contributed to 165 of them in his 206 appearances, which is wonderful. 7.36 average. So guys, this was basically me showing you the regen hunting spots, or the new gen hunting spots that I like to check every single season. Without fail, I check these teams. They are where my favourite hot youngsters come from, potential wonder kids, for cheap and some not so cheap, but you always get your value. So we've been to England with Crew, most people check there. We've been to Uruguay, Defensor Sporting, they're my diamond in the rough. They only produce roughly 2-3 players a season, but there's usually 1 or 2 good ones, and I don't think many people check them. They are very, very good. Argentina, Velez. Who doesn't check Argentina? Who doesn't check Velez? But I've emphasised why you should check them. Same with Brazil. You check them because they're known for their flair fancy players, and I've proved it and shown you. But my favourite, Croatia, Dinamo, JNK, they produce quality homegrown talent. They go on to do big things, and the club get their money worth. If I'm putting these in an order, number 1, we go to Croatia for Dynamo. Number 2, we go to Uruguay for Defensor Sporting. Number 3, we go up to Atletico Mineiro in Brazil. Number 4, we go to Velez in Argentina. Number 5, you go to Crew, England. Now, of course, people will have their own way of checking, but this is me showing why you should go to them. I showed you some players there now, 16 seasons in, some players there who are away and went on to bigger and better things. This is something new for me. Thanks for checking out the NewGen Hotspots. 5 different countries, 5 different clubs, a lot of quality, cheap talent. Thanks for checking the post out, guys. Back again soon.